Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are reading chapters 47 and 48 of Tower of God. So we ended off the last couple of chapters still with Team B going through their hide-and-seek trial thing with Quant, but it seems to be less about them versus Quant and more about them versus each other. Everybody's just has plans to betray each other and turn their backs on each other. Everyone's kind of making things up on the fly of how they're going to benefit themselves or like a couple of other people that they're going to take with them, and then everyone else is kind of dragon fodder in the meantime. So lots of stuff going on with this team. Dysfunction from every direction. And we ended off the last chapter with Ho going to speak to Rachel to kind of lure her out of the lighthouse management thing she had going on. So we'll see where Ho ends up. We know that he got that note about wanting to have Bomb fail the test. Bomb being on the same team as Ho in this instance, so it might actually be something that Ho has some control over. And the plan was that if something happened to Rachel, Bomb of course would follow suit because of how important Rachel is to him. Not sure who it is at this point, but Bomb has his own things going on with being with Endorsey and deciding that he is going to stand up to her and put a stop to her sacrificing the fisherman on her team. So lots of things. I feel like we're gonna maybe focus on the Ho and Rachel thing because we ended off the last chapter with that, but then I don't know what chapter 48 is going to get into. There's been a lot going on, and even Quant is like, this team is not working well together, so we'll have to wait and find out, but let's just get into chapter 47. Okay, chapter 47, again, always says a different number at the top and it trips me up. Anyway, starting with Rachel and Ho. Not sure how this is going to go, especially since Ho's face is in shadow. Always a bit of an ominous sign. But we'll see. I don't know about this information too. Like, I don't know if Ho is saying, hey, Bomb is being targeted by someone because Ho is trying to do the right thing or something, or if it's just part of his way of gaining trust, right? Because we also had the conversation between Ho and the thief girl whose name I can never remember, but we had them talking about how they wanted to be able to have forgiveness, like kind of have a get out of jail free card kind of thing of if they did anything that would betray people so that they could advance up the tower, they wanted to already be kind of forgiven in advance for that happening. So a lot of ambiguity around what Ho's going to do. See, Ho, I'm watching you because you were like, turn off the lights so you can move around in darkness, which I also feel like kind of goes with the feelings that Ho has been having in general. I feel like he's not the kind of person who wants to manipulate and betray people. Unlike Endorsey, I love Endorsey, but she is definitely cutthroat enough to like sort of enjoy the game. Like she kind of sees it as a game of playing the chances and stuff like that. Like I really feel like her coming into the tower is less about seeing it as a conflict in and of itself and more of like seeing the game and play involved with those confrontations and challenges and stuff like that. Whereas I feel like Ho is more, there's, I don't want to say honor because it seems like a weird thing to say when Ho's about to betray someone, but Ho is a little bit more, has more of a conscience, and I think that that has to do with why he wants the lights out, because it's easier to betray people when you're kind of in shadow and they can't really see you and you can't really see them. Like you can dehumanize them, like they aren't Rachel or Michelle Light or whatever she wants to call herself. It's just a shadow. It's just a like stand-in without a specific face or anything like that. Also, we have a knife, which I mean, not a good sign either. Bad Valen. Are we getting the voiceover with a different thing going on? Because we have Night Guy going up against Endorsey. Trying to control the situation. But isn't that also the disc thing? Is also like one of Endorsey's? Ooh, look at that shot though. Of his face. I feel like there's a lot of secrets that are coming out. I feel like because this team kind of seems less intimidating than the other one, I feel like Team A, we know a lot of the power set of the people on that team, whereas this one's a little bit more mysterious, and I feel like even the teachers for the different classes were like, this team doesn't have quite as much going on, but that might be just because they haven't showcased a lot of what they can do yet. So I feel like there are going to be some twists and turns of like this team not really understanding the power sets of who's on that team. So whenever they are trying to like betray each other or maneuver around each other, they don't really know what they're dealing with. I feel like this is going to end with Ho saying me. Wow, that's quite a blade actually. It seemed smaller before. Probably because it was like cut off to a certain extent. I'm just trying to protect everyone. I feel like this is going to be really a test of what Kun was talking about before with him, of like you can't save everyone. Some people have to fail so that you can continue. And I feel like that's really what this test is going to be for him. Like, it's less about the hide and seek test, and it's more about Bomb coming to terms with the fact that this team is not all going to get out of this test together. And it's not just because some people can't pass this level of the tower. It's also because they're not going to want to work together. They're all doing their own thing, which means that like they don't want to get out together. You know, they don't want to win as a team. They want to win as individuals or smaller groups. And I feel like that's going to be something that Bomb finds difficult to wrap his head around. What a quote though, of why do we have to fight even though we don't hate each other? I feel like I could go on a philosophical rant about that one because I have thoughts. Yeah, this is going to be really difficult for Bomb. I feel like it's a turning point, like a breaking point, where Bomb is either going to take on those more cynical viewpoint because of the experience, or he's going to have to find a different way. I feel like there is a way of him coming out of this maintaining some of his ideology and like philosophical views of like how to treat people, but I don't think there's a way of getting out of this maintaining his innocence. Does that make sense? Like there's a difference between innocently believing that like everyone is good and can get along and stuff like that, and believing that everyone has the capability to be good, which is like a more learned skill than just something that you have. So I definitely feel like this might be the moment. I've been apprehensive this whole series about when Bob is going to like lose that innocence that he has and that trust, and it's going to be something that he like actively has to work on. I feel like it's just the start of going downhill. Ooh, that's a good line too, because we've seen a lot of imagery already where we talked about stepping stones and stuff with Ho's conversation about using people to step up and get higher. But we've also seen the imagery with Rachel in her dream of her getting to the top of the tower and there's empty, you know, like she got to see the sky, but there's nothing else there. And once you reach your goal, as sad as this is to say, you move on to the next one. I think we all have that, where like you reach a goal and you think that that's going to be so fulfilling, but it's not the end. Meeting a goal isn't the end. It's just the start of the next thing. And we had Rachel looking over and seeing Bomb surrounded by all these people and realizing that maybe there was something to that. Like maybe getting to the top of the tower on her own isn't inherently good enough, and her having a conflict with that. I feel like that's where Bomb is really coming from too. Like he doesn't want to get to the top of the tower for himself. He never has. He never came into the tower because he wanted something for himself. He came to the tower because of Rachel, because of someone he sees as a friend. And that is a very different view than I think a lot of people who are in the tower. I think they all want something on a personal level, whether that's to prove themselves, to get some kind of desire granted, to get more powerful, to impress their family, whatever it is, the prestige of it. Bomb, that's not why he's here. He's here for someone else's benefit. And I think that that really isolates him in terms of his frame of mind right from the beginning. And I just love his remark of like, what remains though if we use everybody on the way? What happens when you get to the top? You know, if you can't celebrate the accomplishment, if you can't have something that helps you feel more fulfilled, then what's the point? Oh, I love that too. Are the stars that beautiful? The truth is though, they'll still be out of reach. You can go and look at the stars, but you can't get to them. It's just like a dream that can't come true. Oh, I feel like there's so many good moments in this. I feel like I keep stopping because there's so many good lines just from Bomb. I feel like there's so much about Bomb's character coming out, which is why I also feel like this is a shifting point, because why focus so much on like the fundamentals of who Bomb is if something isn't going to change about his way of going about things? Like something is about to change. I don't know what part of it is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be tragic or if it's going to be more him coming to terms with his situation and kind of taking control of it. I don't know. But why does everyone say that something they've never seen before is more beautiful than what they've got? I love that line because I think that it really summarizes what the tower is, because I don't think anyone understands what going up the tower is unless they've done it. And there's all these people who want to go up the tower, and we started with the chapter 0 of like, what do you desire kind of thing, where it was all of these different things that people wanted, thought they wanted, things that they didn't have but were dreaming after. But no one like really knows outside of people who have actually gotten to the top of the tower what that even means and what you have to do to get there. And everyone just kind of takes the gamble because they want something bad enough that they don't have, and Baum is obviously surrounded by people like that, and he's just wanted to be where he is. And I feel like he's very content with having just like a few good things around him. Like when it was just him and Rachel, that was good enough. You know, having his moment with his few friends around him of like Kun and Shibitsu and Hats and all of that around him, that was good enough. He didn't need to do anything grand or anything like that. But everyone around him wants something more. And I feel like Baum was like the only one who would be totally content with staying where he is. And it's just difficult for him to understand that mindset. Again, he's not here because he wants to gain something specific like fortune or notoriety or whatever. He just wants to be with his friend. Like, that's why he's here. And I feel like he's so fundamentally different from everyone else who steps inside the tower. I think it's also worth noting that, like, the people that we have met, the rankers that have been to the top of the tower, there is something melancholy about them. Like, I don't think anyone makes it to the top of the tower and then just lives a dream life. I feel like there's definitely a lot of things that they had to do that they're not proud of, they don't want to talk about, that are things that they wish they hadn't done in order to get to the top of the tower and get whatever it is they wanted to get out of that journey. He knows, though. I feel like this is supposed to be like a reveal moment, but like, Mom knows that Rachel's still there. He knows that she's Michelle and that for some reason she's trying to hide that from him. But I feel like Baum isn't, his sole drive isn't Rachel anymore. He has so many other reasons for wanting to protect people, and if that means going up the tower to do it, he's going to. Poor little Baum. I just want to give him a hug and tell him it's okay. It's like every time he goes through something. I feel like Endorsey like low-key respects this, because I feel like too, someone like Endorsey, when we got her backstory of how she grew up with like, you need to take from other people to gain something and you couldn't trust anyone because of that mentality. She doesn't know what it means to have unwavering loyalty to someone. And I feel like that's something that Kun had to. Like, the reason that Kun cares so much about Baum is because Kun grew up in a place where they said like, don't trust anyone or something like that. Like, no one can be trusted. He got used to the idea of people not being loyal and not being trustworthy and not keeping their promises. And Baum keeps his promises no matter what. He's always honest. He's always reliable. And Kun is so drawn to that because it's completely different from what he knows, but it's everything that he wants. And I feel like that's what Endorsey has too. Endorsey just wants family. Like, I feel like the reason that she wants to excel so much is because she wants to be praised. You get that a lot with like competitive environments. If you grow up somewhere, if you grow up in like a family or an environment that is very competitive and you need to like earn affection, or you think that you need to earn affection, you're being very competitive and trying to excel because you want that attention. You want someone to care about you. And I feel like that's what Endorsey wants. She wants someone who cares about her the way that she sees Baum cares about Rachel and his friends. She wants that feeling. And I think that that's why she's so drawn to Baum as a character. Ruined the moment a little bit. Not exactly what's going on. It's true. Endorsey doesn't need to keep Baum there because she's not trying to fight any of the other groups. She's just trying to fight the other fishermen because that ensures that she can pass this test and get the extra points that she needs. So I think she wants Baum to stay with her, but it doesn't change her plan in any way. So why would she waste energy going after him if she like wants him to succeed and pass the test anyway? She's not trying to sabotage him. The just as bad guys hurts my heart a little bit because I do quite like Endorsey. There's something about her. I am very empathetic though, so maybe that's it. Yeah, if Baum, I'm assuming that Baum is going to show up and see this because I feel like that's part of Ho's plan. He's going after Baum because that's part of his way of winning, getting the extra points that he needs is if Baum fails. I also feel like maybe Rachel has something else going on. I'm just saying, because how did she make it this far if she didn't have something going on? Because we haven't really explored her in a combat situation, because the only time we've seen her like fight was against Baum, and she wasn't really trying to fight in that instance because she didn't want to hurt him. I guess she's really strategic and stuff because she's a light bearer. What was the name of Kuhn's group of people? There's too much terminology. But she's in the same group as Kuhn, so I'm assuming she's quite smart and she's good at like strategizing and stuff like that. But is she a fighter? I don't know. Would it matter against a Shinsu user? Not that Ho has shown quite as much firepower as like Lorraine or Baum, but still, I feel like maybe she's got something going on. Just waiting for the moment. Baum is like the furthest thing from a monster, except maybe in terms of power. I feel like Baum has some kind of, excuse the pun, but explosive capability, you know? Like, I feel like Baum is like kind of like Mob from Mob Psycho 100. You guys have seen that anime? But Mob is like the nicest person, and he's just trying to be nice to people and make friends. They're actually really similar now that I think about it, but if he reaches 100%, he kind of explodes and lots of really bad things just sort of happen and people get really hurt, and it's not his fault. He's trying to figure out how to control it, but it just kind of, power just kind of goes everywhere, you know? So I feel like that's kind of what Bomb has the capability of, kind of waiting for the moment when it happens, which might be holding a knife up to Rachel's neck. I'm just saying, that seems like a good way of making his emotions go a little bit haywire. That's a bit of a crazed look on Ho's face. Worrisome. Ooh, interesting little bit of info of like, what did God take from him in exchange for that talent? Because we know that Bomb like doesn't have a past. Like his story kind of begins slightly before he meets Rachel, but we don't know anything else about who he is or where he comes from or anything like that. And there is this feeling of like exchange of like making deals and stuff like that. Ho like said like, is he blessed or something like that, which does seem like maybe something happened. Like maybe, I mean, if you wanted a bunch of power, giving up who you are, every like memories, experiences, people you knew, that would be a big toll. I wonder if that is something that's going to come up. Uh-oh. Is he going to go after Rachel? Because he knows that Rachel's alias is Michelle. Or is he going to find Hots? I feel like he's going to go after Rachel. Oh, we've been over this. Fair isn't really a thing in the tower. No one said the tower was fair. So I think Ho wants there to be equality between like who has a certain amount of power. And he's like, well, Bomb and I should have a similar kind of power because we're both Shinzo users. It's not how it works. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to get over it. Yeah, he's going after Rachel. See, the thing too is it's like the safe zone, but it's only the safe zone from Quant. So I'm just saying, this is definitely gonna be a turning point. Somebody threatening Rachel feels like something that would push Bomb over the edge a little bit. But I also feel like Rachel's got something going on. I'm just saying. Come again? Who would it be? Oh, Quant. Why are we in the safe zone? Kind of wondering where he would end up. He seems to have an idea of what's going on though, because Quant seems to be a fairly good strategic thinker. I think that's part of just like being a ranker, obviously. He's had a lot of experience, I'm assuming, with lots of different kinds of fighting and situations because he's had to go through all of these tests before. So I think he has like more of an idea of what's going on than they might think. Like I feel like he knows what all these different groups have going on and what their plans are. Ho is not ready to fight Quant single-handedly either. Okay, chapter 48. I feel like things are really getting intense. Looks like we've lost connection visually. Makes me feel like there's something going on. Like Hung Sung and other rankers know that something is going on with this team. Kun and Lorraine just sleeping. Is that what's going on? Are we being that casual, that confident in our friends? I felt like Kun would be bouncing off the walls a little bit. I mean, I don't know if Quant needs there to be a lighthouse there to figure out what's going on. We know that he's quite good at moving around in the shadows. It's a good point. I mean, Quant's like, hang on, you guys aren't part of the same class, so why are you fighting each other? Like, and Dorsey fighting the other fisherman, that makes sense, because she's trying to gain her position again, but Quant's like trying to connect the dots of like why this is happening. I'm sure he also was aware that there's some kind of connection between Rachel and Bomb. I feel like people know that from just watching the bonus round. I'm sure Quant understands that that is a thing. See, even Ho's like, it feels like he knows my plans before I do. I'm like, I feel like Quant does too. I feel like he's very good at deducing how people are going to behave. Even down to like Kun, like them playing off of each other was really because they were really good at figuring out what the other was going to do, how they were going to react to a certain situation. And Ho doesn't seem like the kind of person who puts a lot of planning and calculation into his actions. He seems to be going off of desperation and emotion. Oh, I think that the note was definitely a trap of some kind. Ho, if someone wants to get Bomb out of the way, why not do it themselves? Because they want someone to blame for it. They want someone else to do their dirty work. So it's a trap of some kind. I don't know if it's Quant, though. Could it be Hung Sung? I always thought it was someone within the test that would be doing it. But Hung Sung also seems devious. He seems to like the drama of it all. Ho, you definitely can't get away from him. Not trying to maneuver with another person, too. Oh, what happened? Spearbearer? Another teammate showing up? I feel like there's a great switch there of like Quant falling back into that kind of bombastic personality that he sometimes has. And I think intentional. I think Quant knows when to put on the character and when he needs to be in like ranker mode. And I think trying to figure out what Ho is doing is him in ranker mode. But then when there's like I'm assuming it's the other spear bearers that like ran off from Hans. He's a little bit more in that character because he's not trying to figure anything out. He's not trying to maneuver or anything like that. It is. It's the other spear bearers. But you definitely cannot win this fight either. Oh no. Oh, they got captured by their own teammates. I do not think that you are blessed. You ran into Quant. Just saying. Seems like a bad thing. Especially if Quant like kind of knows what's going on. I feel like he sort of knew what was going to happen because he knew that the spear bearers, when he was fighting with Hots, that like Quant knows what they're going to try to do and he's just kind of playing into it for right now. Ho does look like he's going through a lot of different things right now and maybe just needs to take a breath and reassess some decisions. See, he's like yelling and making these threats and stuff like that. Totally not his way of going to talk to Ho and like entering that moment. So I definitely feel like there's something. I feel like he doesn't feel the threat of the spear bearers and others that are there. But if you're all traitors, am I the only one that's seeing the irony of that? Like the contradiction within that of like, we're all traitors, so let's work together. Why would you want to work with traitors? Obviously they're gonna stab you in the back the first moment that they get. So who's it then? Did we ever find out who's it on this team? I don't remember. And Dorsey maybe? She was like in charge temporarily. This is not going to end in anyone's favor except maybe Quant. Wait till Bomb just stumbles into all this. You just see like Quant trying to navigate the situation. That's the thing too, like if you have so many different conflicts going on of like everybody is out for their own thing, that means there's a bunch of different little skirmishes going on and Quant just trying to like navigate what's going on. I feel like he'll be okay though. Again, ranker, bunch of regulars on like the lower levels of the tower. I think he'll be okay. Crazy thing is though, I do think Quant cares about whether or not she dies. I think he would prefer if she didn't, but I also feel like he's dealt with this kind of situation before. Like I feel like you can't become a ranker without losing people and having experienced what it means to see someone die. I mean, even up to this point, the regulars have killed or been around people being killed, so it's not like a new concept to anyone, but especially not a ranker. So I feel like he would have preferred everyone getting out alive, but he also recognizes that it's not a necessity for him still like managing the situation. Like it's the best case scenario, but it isn't the only solution. I kind of believe that thread too. I mean, this is what I always think of hostage situations where people are like, if you do this or don't do that, I will kill this hostage that matters to you. I'm like, but if you do, then you don't have any leverage anymore. So if Ho does stick to his word and does end up hurting Rachel, then he doesn't have a bargaining chip anymore. In which case, what's to stop Quant from doing whatever he wants? It just seems like a not great negotiating tactic to me. Never has. I knew he was going to show up eventually. Break his little heart, but also a whole other person getting involved with this, which also might be to Quant's advantage because he's like, all right, Bomb, take care of your friend and Rachel because you can attack somebody in the safe zone. And then Quant's like, I'm going to handle this other group. Okay? Teamwork. That's what I'm hoping for. Is Bomb it? I'm trying to figure out who's it. Who has the badge? This was your plan, Ho, now what? Your move. Ooh, I love that transition of like the smile, the kind of like trying to deal with the situation and then just breaking, you know, like trying to keep mask and then that break moment. Ho, this is all gonna go sideways. It's only gonna get worse for you. I do feel like we're gonna get a Quant Bomb tag team. No pun intended with that one either. I just realized it's kind of a game of tag. I feel like also Ho calling Bomb a monster over and over again is also him trying to justify what he's doing. Because he's like, if I can make Bomb a monster, that makes him not a person. He's not a friend. He's not just another regular. He's a monster. Monsters are bad things. You're dehumanizing again. Same with wanting the lights to be off so that he can separate himself from his actions. I feel like that's really what he's trying to do is he's like, well, it's not me, it's the note. Someone else wants to hurt Bomb. Like, well, it's not Rachel, it's just a shadow. Or Bomb, it's a monster. Like he's trying to put all of these barriers between his actions and how he's actually feeling. And I feel like even just with his expressions and the way that you can see him struggling, like part of him knows that what he's doing is wrong and he shouldn't be doing it. Like his conscience is fighting with him, but at the same time he feels like he's in too deep, you know, like the momentum has started and he doesn't know how to get out of it anymore. So he's just like leaning into it and hoping for the best, I guess, hoping that he'll get what he wants. Maybe. See, it's all your fault. That's what he's saying. Like even early on with his conversation before about like trying to ask for forgiveness, he took that situation that the girl was talking about and was like, well, that applies to all of us. Like, that's me too. You have to forgive me also if I do something awful. He's always trying to shift why things are happening, but it's you. You made the decisions. Even like before, where he was talking about, like, is Bomb blessed? Like, it was like someone else decided to give Bomb his talent and his power. Like, everything is someone else's doing, and it doesn't have anything to do with like Ho personally. So he's like deciding who Bomb's gonna be too. I feel like Bomb definitely has the potential to become an awful person, but you can't like charge someone for a crime they haven't committed. Some Minority Report issues with that one. Oh, his little face. I just want him to never make that face again. Oh, we can't be friends. Anyone who makes Bomb look like that, bad person. We like Bomb. I gotta move on or I'm gonna like tear up. Teamwork, teamwork. I want them to work together so badly. No, don't fight each other. Bomb, don't fight Quant. Fight Ho. I want you to work together. Oh no. Bomb, it's not gonna work out. Oh, is Quant trying to like prevent him? That's like kind of a good thing though. If he immobilizes Bomb, then it's not Bomb's fault for not doing what Ho told him to. Like, I feel like Quant is trying to navigate the situation of like incapacitating Bomb so that anything that Ho tries to do to manipulate him, he's physically incapable of carrying any of it out. So that means that threatening to hurt Rachel because Bomb refuses isn't really something that happens because Bomb can't make the decision anymore. Oh, and helping out, yes. Teamwork. I want you guys to work together because I feel like that could work out. Divide and conquer. We're gonna work together with people who maybe we can sort of trust for right now. We're not gonna lose our trust in other people. We'll figure this out. Nice. I'm excited for this. I didn't think that going through this whole thing that I would eventually side with Quant in some way. Not that I ever thought that he was like a bad person. I just like, he was so clearly the adversary of Team A's round. Like, it was very much Team A against Quant because that's part of the test. Like, but that's not the same as like him being a legitimately bad person in the tower. But now it's become like a different kind of conflict because everyone in Team B is like doing their own thing, that even Quant like isn't, like I said at the beginning, I'm like, Quant isn't even really the opponent in this. Like, he's such a secondary thought, I think, to a lot of the people in Team B during this test, because they're all trying to get what they want and they're betraying each other that are in their direct proximity. And I think a lot of them forgot that Quant is like the important part of passing this test. It's going to be a train wreck for the teachers to like grade this team. Also, like, the poetic justice of Bomb using the power that Ho is so jealous of against Ho to succeed. I want that. Uh-oh. Careful. Oh, Bomb's gonna surprise you, Quant. He's gonna pull it off. I believe in him. If anybody can pull it off after like a month or something of training, I think they were only like a couple months total, but I don't know how much time has passed between when they started and this point. But if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be Bomb. I understand what Quant did though. He was like, I want him to feel like he can fight back and choosing to fix the other situation because he can't do anything about the safe zone. So it's not really a choice unless he could find some way to like lure Ho out of the safe zone so he could deal with the situation. Again, like I said, best case scenario, Quant wants everyone to survive this, but that's not the only way for him to fix the situation. Oh, the sad look though. See, I think that that's important. Like, he's legitimately looks sorrowful at the idea that Rachel might die in this instance and what that might do to Bomb or the other people around her. But Bomb's gonna surprise you. Hey, good job. See, even Quant's like, hang on a minute. I mean, he sort of already kind of attacked someone at a distance with Shinsu when it just kind of went crazy during the bonus round. Like, he wasn't directly in front of that girl. So yeah, I think he has the potential to be a monster, but he isn't at this moment. He might become one though. I worry about that too. Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna work out for Ho. And now you've thrown everything away because who's gonna trust you now? I mean, maybe some of them will if like they pass and they are one of the more manipulative ones. Like, there are some people on Team B who will do whatever it takes to continue up the tower and get what they want. But also, you probably angered Kun, and good luck with that one because you threatened Bomb, and Kun is very protective of him, and he's very good at planning to destroy someone. Like, I feel like if anyone has an evil plan to like completely ruin someone's life, it's Kun. He could do it. And I'm sure that he's already coming up with ideas. So I think Ho is pretty much down for the count. And that's the end, at least for now. We'll see how this all wraps up. I feel like there's going to be some kind of bookend to this test. Definitely a lot going on with that one. I feel like there are so many points in that I just I deconstructed a lot of them, but I feel like there was so much about Bomb. There was such a focus on him and like what his morals are and stuff like that, and like why he behaves the way that he does, and him like questioning why other people are behaving the way that they do. And I feel like this is a really gradual process for him, of him just trying to understand all these other people around him, because he is meeting so many other people in his life. He's had a very small pool of people that he has interacted with before coming into the tower, and now he has met so many of them, and he's had time to like really get to know them and spend time with them. Like I said, they've spent like I think at least a month in these classes. It might have been the full 2 months, because I can't remember if this is like a final test of some kind or just like a intermittent test, but he's had time to get to know all of these people and bond with them and learn new things and just like be a normal person with friends and stuff like that. So he has all of these other experiences and influences and people with their own baggage and talents and stuff like that. Like he isn't limited in how he can perceive the world and different concepts. I feel like he's grown up a lot since the beginning of the story, or even like the beginning of coming to this part of going up the tower, just like going to classes and stuff. He's really grown, as we saw with him kind of having this shifting point when he found Rachel and her like not wanting him around. And we had, like I said, at that moment of like, oh, the clothes are changing, but that like really shows that he's leaving behind who he was before the tower, and now he's Bomb, who is one of the regulars going up the tower. And I feel like now we're entering a different transitional point where he's left behind being solely reliant on Rachel and that being his one focus into who he was, and now he's having to leave behind the idea that like everyone is good and everyone can be his friend and everyone can help each other and stuff like that. We had him saying like, why is everyone fighting each other when we don't hate each other, and him trying to wrap his head around that concept. I do feel like we're going to still get into some of that, of Bomb just trying to parse what's going on and come to terms with it. And I think because he's more isolated in terms of not having like Kun and Shibitsu and like his close friends around him, that he has to come up with those ideas by himself, and he can't rely on them. You know, like he can't just lean on his friends right now because he doesn't know who they are. All of these people are turning on each other and doing their own thing, and he doesn't know who he can trust anymore. And I feel like he's really going to have to dig through all of that information and figure out what to do with it, which is something that I think we all go through at some point. Like Bomb is quite young too, of trying to figure out morality and what is right and what is wrong, and like how to interact with each other and stuff like that. So I feel like there's so much stuff going on, a little bit of a heavier couple of chapters, and I feel like we're still going to have maybe the next couple where we're coming to the conclusion of this test and really bookending everything that's been going on before seeing what the results of the test are going to be and what the next point is. I really feel like a lot is going to change with Bomb as a result of this incident, because it's just not what he had in mind going into this. I think that he thought, oh, we're gonna be like team A and we're gonna all work together, and it's gonna be like his previous experience being on a team, you know, when he was like Kun and Rock. It's like, oh, we're all gonna work together and help each other out, and it's gonna be fine because we're supposed to pass as a team. And it became more of a battle royale kind of thing going on, and it was literally a bit cutthroat. Just making all of the puns, and I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional when I went into this reaction, but they're all coming out this time. But it's far more vicious than he probably would have even imagined. And even when we had the first test at the beginning of Evan Kell's floor, where like people were literally killing each other around him, he found Kun really quickly, and he had someone. You know, and Kun was someone that he just trusted and could rely on, and he had Rock. They helped protect him, and everything just kind of worked out that way. He was just lucked out with that one. But this is like completely different. He doesn't have that now, and these are people that he thought he could trust and he thought he knew, and losing all of that. So I feel like it's just gonna get more and more intense because we're getting to the end of the first season. I think there's like maybe 20 chapters left or something, so I feel like it's just gonna get more wild. But I hope you enjoyed reading those chapters along with me. If you did, you can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Tower of God video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!